Today, I am feeling a little bit more energized than usual because it's not often that I'm in the presence of a pop star. Okay, so I'm feeling very excited. And I feel like I'm talking to not just any pop star, a pop star who is so fiercely unique and individual that they're almost in a category of their own. Charli XCX. Are you kidding me? You obviously know Charli XCX, but she has done so much in her career. It's unbelievable. So let me fill in some of the gaps for you, okay? Charli XCX, whose birth name is Charlotte Atchison, is a singer, songwriter, documentary maker, radio host, podcaster, and co-owner and founder of the management company Project Gold. I feel like she's involved in the music world more than people know about because she writes for other artists while releasing her own music. She runs her own label. She directs music videos, co-manages developing artists, and she's collaborated with so many incredible, talented people as well, such as Blondie, Selena Gomez, Gwen Stefani, Camila Cabello, Shawn Mendes, Blanco, David Guetta. The list goes on. Charli is truly a special creative in the sense that she has created a world around herself that is so fun and indulgent to be a part of. So without further ado, let me bring in the iconic Charli XCX. What's your drink when you go out?
I'll do an espresso martini sometimes.
Oh, so you are a coffee girl.
I know, I love coffee.
Stop. We're soulmates.
I know. Like, I'm not just saying this because it's you and you have a coffee brand, but like sometimes maybe you get this too. Like at night, I'll be thinking about oh, in the morning I get to have my coffee.
Oh, I get so excited and I have to limit myself to one nowadays because the older I get, the more anxious I get.
Yeah, totally.
Are you having that?
Normally I'll have 2 a day, but sometimes it'll be 3. But then I am very
freaking
out, really texting and I'm just being a bit crazy. Yeah. So now I try and I was on 2, now I'm trying to have 1. This is my second, the same though.
I've had 2 today too. This is also my second.
What
We're
are you
gonna be
having?
freaking out. This is an Americano as well. Is that an Americano or cold brew?
It's I don't want to sound like a diva. I think it's an Americano. I think it's an iced Americano.
Yeah.
But I did say cold brew, but it tastes like espresso.
They lied
coffee.
to you.
Yeah, but I love it. I'm enjoying it. I just can tell.
Yeah, well,
but I could also be wrong.
Well, no, but it tastes so different. Cold brew can also be really sour. It depends on where you go, but sometimes when you go to a really fancy place, it's why is this sour?
Are we allowed to talk about other coffee brands?
Of course.
Is that a no?
No, we can talk about anything.
Obviously, your favorite coffee brand is Your Coffee.
Oh, yes.
Chamberlain Coffee.
Oh my God, this is my. I can't believe we're promoting.
No, I love it. This is
dream.
Water, but no, can I tell you again? I'm not just saying this because I'm here. I just think it's really smart.
Thank you.
Because there aren't really many people who have coffee brands.
Well, I feel like
but it's such a duh.
Well, the thing
everyone's drinking coffee.
Yes, and also I feel like not a lot of people are a nerd about it.
No,
which is why I had to do it because I was I am a nerd about it, but I'm also still, I'm not perfect at it. You can
totally.
It's I'm still a home barista at the end of the day. I'm not this fancy. I'm not weighing out the beans and shit. Are you somebody who weighs out the beans?
Okay, so my fiance is have you met? I don't think you've met him.
No.
He is really into he's into coffee. He got me the scales for Christmas.
That is unbelievable.
He's really into it. Yeah, he's really into it. And he makes great coffee. And sometimes I'll be can you just tell me the exact ratios, and he'll be like, it's not really about that, it's just about like feeling, which is annoying. I'm like, shut up.
Well, that's
There's
how
a
are we
number
supposed to
that you're turning the grinder to and an amount that you're doing on the scale.
Yeah.
So can you just give me the information,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah.
And then so he did, and and now I have a kettle with a thin spout.
Stop.
Like, I'm not that good at it. He's very good at it. And I just try my best.
Yeah.
But I know that you're supposed to have scales.
Oh, no,
I'm
you're
not trying
fully
to call you out.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. It shocks me that you have a coffee brand and you don't have scales.
No, I have a scale. Do I use it?
No.
Never. Because I wake up in the morning. I'm the type that like my morning routine is like get up and I'm out of bed immediately. Like there's not a thought and I'm downstairs. But at that hour, like, when you first wake up, you're not nearly sharp enough.
You're not doing math and doing.
For fuck's sake, a scale? I'm like, hell no. And so it's like, I am like scrappy with it, but I feel like I have it down so good that it's like, I don't need it. However.
Well, this is what my boyfriend's saying. It's feeling.
Yeah, it's feeling. So maybe I'm like beyond needing the scale. However, I feel like I need it. What are you like? So your boyfriend's thing is the coffee. Like that's his like that's the hobby.
Yeah.
Do you have one? Like what's your thing?
No.
Me either.
I think it's watching movies.
Really?
I watch movies a lot.
Yeah.
Like right now, because I'm kind of like working a lot, I'm not watching a film a night, but like there's been phases where I will watch a film a night, and on the weekends I'll watch like 3 films on Saturday and maybe 2 on Sunday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense because I feel like when you're in one creative space, it just kind of makes you interested in every creative space in a way. Like I feel like it's film, it's fashion. Like
well,
I think
you work in fashion.
Yeah.
You work in coffee, you work in fashion.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like fashion is your.
It's kind of a hobby.
I was about to say fashion. It's your passion and a hobby, and it's work kind of. But I feel the same about music. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't make music unless I like, I love doing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I just realized, I'm sorry, I just looked straight into the camera.
Oh, you can do.
I'm not wearing a bra, and I'm like, sunk. How?
Me either. Are you kidding me?
I'm like, do I need to?
You look amazing.
But now it's
also
crazy.
You're wearing all black, so you can do whatever you want. That's why I love wearing all black.
Okay.
No, you look chic and hot. And gorgeous.
I'm just wondering if my tits look saggy when I like sat like this.
Actually, they're really good.
Okay, great. And now I'm like being like crazy with how.
You guys all need to like. If you're not watching the video version of this, watch the video. They look amazing.
Now I'm holding them.
Yeah, well, of course.
Okay, anyways,
but
whatever.
To hold them is to be like. I feel like there's something about being in fashion. Like you're in fashion as well, and there's something about being in fashion that makes you like weirdly. You're used to like. I can't explain it. There's like a comfortability that you get with like being nude or like not wearing a bra and like having your boob out and shit. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just makes you comfortable.
Well, I think it's fittings as well, isn't it?
Oh, everyone's all over you.
Everyone's all over you. And I think we both have gay male stylists.
Yes. Yes.
That we collaborate with.
Yes.
And so then you're not really like.
Well, you're not, nothing.
You're talking about your
anymore.
boobs.
Yeah.
You're holding them. They're like pushing them in a top.
Yeah. They're taping them up. The shit's happening. But it's kind of nice because I don't know. It feels communal. There's communal and beautiful about it.
Yeah, and it really becomes about like the clothes and creating a really great
and being
moment.
A canvas in a way.
Yeah.
But with movies, well, you're acting now. I need to know about this.
Well, I've been in one film.
Yeah,
that has not yet come out.
Yes.
The film is a film called Faces of Death. And I was a fan of the original movie. And this movie was kind of like a 70s gore film that kind of, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I'm pretty certain in ways it like kind of began to kind of coin the genre of gore. It's basically like this film of found footage of murders. And it's kind of narrated over the top by this fictional doctor. And this film is like in the 70s, you would go to whatever Blockbuster was then and rent this movie, and it was like supposedly cursed. Like,
stop.
It was like a cursed film,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
it was like you'd put it in and be like, ah. Anyway, I wasn't alive then when that was happening, but
Yeah.
this is what I've been told. I
Yeah.
was just a fan of the film from later. So I saw that this film was being remade by a director called Daniel Goldhaber, who made Cam and How to Blow Up a Pipeline.
Mhm.
And I was like, damn, like, how are you remaking this?
Yeah.
So we met and we spoke, and then he was like, you should be in it. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so I went to, it's a small role, and, you know, I play a co-worker of Barbie Ferreira, who's the lead in the film. But it was just, I really got the bug from that.
Did you see yourself doing it beforehand, or were you like okay with being a fan?
What, of that particular film?
No, like
Or
in general,
acting in
just
general?
being like a movie fanatic.
You know, it's like and I'm sure you've had this with your career. I feel like there are always people who are trying to like push and pull you into different ways. Like I'm sure there's somebody
Absolutely.
who's said to you like, hey, Emma, you should act. Or
Yep.
hey, Emma, have you ever thought of making an album? Like, you know, there's always people who are trying to be like expanding the brand or
Yes.
whatever. And I had definitely had like a fair few people say like, hey, Charlie, you should consider acting for a long time. And I had always sort of been like, you know what? I just don't feel that that is a skill that you can just like suddenly jump into. Like people train and train and train,
Yeah.
and you have to learn your craft and you have to understand, you know, like in depth so much about the way films are written, screenwriting, like script analysis, like
Yeah.
also the technique of acting. And, you know, of course there's feeling in it too. But like I just at that point in time was like, that feels crazy, you know?
Yes.
So I kind of like wanted to like learn and research and really only insert myself into that world or try and insert myself into
Yes.
that world when I felt like at least like a tiny bit prepared and not just like showing up being like, "Ugh." And also,
Well, there's
I'm
more
not the
pressure on
girl-
you to do well because you're a public figure in another area. And same for me. It's like people are not gonna willingly accept you into another sort of
Sure, you gotta
like,
have
you have to prove
respect.
it.
You gotta have respect
Yes.
for people who have made that their life.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I'm very aware of that, and that's also why I'm really interested in like, you know, working with filmmakers who I love, and that doesn't necessarily have to be like a massive role. I'm happy to like show up and
Yep.
do a scene and be like learning and things like that. And that's very much what this was. This is so funny. I didn't think that we'd be talking about this at all, but I love it.
Well, I think it's fun because I feel like little side projects like that actually end up making you, like they can inspire you creatively elsewhere. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know, when you're only doing one thing, it can be so, it can just like, it can fatigue you. You can get so burnt out. Like you've been doing
Yes.
this since you were 16.
Yeah.
Like and I get that because I also started at 16 and it's such a marathon.
Yeah.
And it's nice to sort of go off and do something else. Like, you know,
Totally.
like doing coffee is like a breath of fresh air
Yeah.
from the other thing.
Of course.
Because it's like, you know, doing all these, I think the more things that you can try and even be new at, it can actually like invigorate and excite you
Totally.
in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, yeah, like you said, I've been doing this since I was 16. And so that is now 15 years. And I would like to flex my creative muscles in other areas,
Yeah.
or at least like begin to learn about other areas in a very kind of like studious way.
Yeah.
And yeah, be really inspired. And like, I don't envision myself making music forever. Maybe I will in some capacity, but I just feel like there are other creative areas that I really want to explore. And I feel like you must feel
I completely align with
same
that.
way, you know?
I'm curious though about like your process of sort of learning. I read somewhere that when you were like in the beginning of music, when you were, you know, starting to make music, you were like, traditional like coaching or teaching, I don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
And I have felt that way about everything that I've tried thus far, whether it's like publicly or even privately, like doing like, you know, things like throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks in other areas of entertainment, I guess. When it comes to learning things, like how do you prefer to teach yourself?
It's so interesting because with music, it's like I never studied music at school. I never took like a class
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I learned piano.
Yeah.
But I couldn't read music, so I would
Mhm.
memorize the pieces. Like my piano teacher would literally spend a year teaching me a piece, and I would be like,
Yeah.
and then I'd like scrape through the exam and do it all again.
Yeah.
But you know, if you put a sheet of music in front of me now, I'd be like, no, can't do it. You know.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like trial and error. I mean, being in the industry from such a young age taught me so much. You know, I'd go to songwriting sessions and I would like learn from people. I think that is how I learn best.
Mhm.
It's like I see what other people are doing. I see this set of rules that they are perhaps navigating within. I take some of them, I disregard others, and then
Mhm.
I kind of build my own set of rules, I suppose. And I think for me, it's like I have to constantly ask why. I have to ask questions all the time. I have
Yes.
to be like, well, why does it have to be that way?
Yeah.
Because then you can kind of like challenge that person or that tradition with the kind of alt
Yeah.
version of that. You know,
Yeah.
like why do you have to, I don't know, shoot a music video like this? Why do you have to roll out an album campaign like this? Why do you have to write a song in this structure? Like I just found like challenging with questions, asking questions always provided me with like new and kind of more interesting answers, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Well, I think too, in a way, I think that there's something to be said for almost knowing too much when you begin a
Yeah.
creative endeavor. Like it's far harder, not that it's not possible, but it's far harder to like disrupt when you know too much because
so
you
right.
end up just following the rules. And
Yeah.
so like I think there's something special about having, enough knowledge so that, you can create something. Like you need the basic, like you need knives in the kitchen. You need to know how to cut things, but
Yeah.
like you don't need to know exactly how to make a recipe. It's like that's how you
Totally.
can I guess go in and disrupt and also bring a new sort of feeling to something,
Yeah.
which I think is far more exciting.
Well, I think there's a real like there's a really interesting thing about like naivety in
Mhm.
creation. There's when you're kind of going in, like you said, you need knives in the kitchen. I love that as a phrase.
Thank you. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like there is also this kind of exciting thing about like not knowing what's going on that can produce
Yes.
really interesting and unique results.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting really young, in what way was that really beneficial, and in what way was that kind of horrific? Because it's kind of
Yeah.
horrific.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
you can really, really go in. That's like a big question. So
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like the benefit of starting young was I got so much experience. I was thrown into a world like with adults and I
Mhm.
was learning so much so fast from
Mhm.
them. And that was really cool. And it was really cool to kind of get to know myself through that process, I suppose. But
Mhm.
the negative side of it is like when you were 16, you were cool. You know?
No.
Yes, Emma.
Thank you.
Yes, you were cool. What? No, 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 no.
I
Like,
look
shut
back and
up.
I cringe,
No,
but
I mean, I'm sure everybody does, but
yes.
when I and I feel this when I look at like so many artists
Mhm.
and creative people, it's like Billie, for
Yeah.
example. When how old was she when she kind of like came out? Like
What,
14?
14?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But she was so cool.
Yeah.
When I was 14, because I was making music when I was 14,
Yes.
it was like I was so lame. I was like,
No.
but I was just like, I think that for me is the negative thing. Like, I feel like as time has moved on, the culture of cool and
Yes.
aesthetic
I know
and
exactly what you mean.
references and being well read actually is kind of happening like younger and younger and younger. Like
Yep.
I feel like most like 12-year-olds are cool now. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yes.
have an awareness of like, my life is on the internet. I need to present in a certain way, and I need to have certain interests, and I need to understand certain things and know what's kind of like even like socially, politically, like culturally, like correct, incorrect, what's
Yep.
aesthetically pleasing versus not. Like when I was 12, you didn't really like, I mean, maybe I was just like super unaware and like not very smart or like cool.
No.
I don't know, but like those things weren't crossing my mind really. I was just like on MySpace.
Well, it was so new.
Being insane.
No, it was so new. You were like right before there was like Instagram as a tween. Okay, because I got Instagram as a tween, and immediately it was like, oh fuck, I need to get my shit together. And it was like, and I wasn't in the public eye yet. Like you were already starting your career at 14, really. You know what I mean? 14, you're like everyone is a mess at 14. You're a mess. And like it's impossible. It also was what was trending. It changes literally every year. So like you look back now and you're cringing, but it's like that was what was, I feel like that's what was cool at the time. But it must be a nightmare to an extent because it's like, it's permanently a part of you. Like somebody who's not a public figure doesn't have to carry with them, you know, their 16-year-old identity, even their, you know, like they can shed it as they grow up. And it's like, you know, when you go from high school to college, you can shed your high school identity and just be a brand new person in college. And there's something really refreshing about that freedom. And I think it's challenging identity-wise to like have to hold on to everything. When it comes to making music too, because people still listen to music that you made when you were a completely different person, I can imagine. How do you like maintain a current identity when you are kind of constantly being haunted of Charli's past? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like this must be similar with you. It's like, I know that I have some really hardcore fans who have been with me through every kind of iteration of my career and understand my growth. And then I have some fans who are like, oh, I love Charli because she made Boom Clap. And like, that's, you know, that's like their favorite song. And that's probably like my peak in their mind and what they associate me with. Maybe like you have fans who are like, oh, I love Emma when she was making these videos when she was 16 and I don't really get her now.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know, and I feel like every person kind of has that. And, you know, there's different levels of fandom as well. There are the fans who are going to like ride or die for you. And, you know, if you decide to like do something completely, totally different than what you're working on right now, they'll still like stick with you and follow with you because they love you and all of the kind of facets of your personality. Whereas there are other fans who just, and this is no bad thing, but they just like this kind of gravitate to one particular thing that you do.
Totally.
And so I kind of, it's cool. Like I'm at peace with it because I like that people like different aspects of my work.
Yes.
And you know, you kind of have to celebrate that. And I think I'm always pretty like, I'll always like try and, well, sometimes I'm not sure if this is a good thing. I kind of always try and like play to my audience. Like if I'm doing a more mainstream festival, I'll be like, I'll throw Boom Clap in. But if I'm like playing my headline show, like I'm not going to play Boom Clap.
Yep.
Although I have in the past, but you know.
Yeah, but also I do think, well, that's actually, I did have that question written down, was like maybe less about, you know, like the set list specifically, but more like when you're creating something new, who are you making it for? Because and why are you making it?
For me, I make it for me, definitely.
It's good.
Yeah, and especially with this record, it's been very like instinctual. I've just been like not really thinking about the consequence or the outside world, or even when I was making it, how it was going to be performed or anything like that.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think I always think about how it's going to be presented visually because that goes very hand in hand with my music making process.
Yep.
But yeah, really just made music that I would want to hear in a club. basically.
Yeah. When it comes to the visual, like the visual relationship, what's sort of what's the process of that? Like, when do you start to imagine like what the visual identity is of a project? Does that just kind of come almost like sort of like a universe sent sort of like vision, or like is it something that like what comes first? Or do you have like an idea? Sometimes you're like, maybe you can see in your brain like the Pinterest board of it, and you're like, and then you're like, oh, this is sort of how I want to make the music. What comes first?
But it's both, and it's very chicken egg situation. It's like with this record, I wrote a couple of songs, some which have ended up on the record, others which got discarded.
Yeah.
But I think after having like 3 or 4 songs that were like, okay, these are going to be on the record, I was like, oh, the title is Brat. And the world is very brutalist, and it's like this girl who like goes to a rave and she's wearing a tank top and you can kind of see her nipples through it. And she's like sweaty, but she's hot. She's like dancing with her friends. And, you know, I was just piecing this all together. And then that allowed me to go on and write more songs under this kind of guise of like, I know what this girl wants.
Yes.
You know, and that girl is me. But like, you know, I was kind of, does that make sense?
I completely know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's kind of both. I keep doing this thing where I keep randomly just like looking into that camera.
It's like The Office.
It's just suddenly I'm just like, I'm like,
so
and
it's
I'm
like
that girl.
No, but it's kind of, honestly, lean into it because it's kind of fun. And like do people even watch the video version? I don't know. It's possible.
They do.
They must.
I've seen it.
It exists.
I watched like, I saw some TikToks of you and Owen.
Yes.
That must have been fun.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
Do you have guests a lot?
You know, it's been hard for me because I think I'm so used to, I love conversations, but it's also hard for me to bring, thank fucking God.
Thank God.
Like but I'm so used to doing it alone. So having like a conversation alone, like I built the podcast on that. And so I didn't ever have guests on. And I was like, it would be nice. Like it would be nice to bring people on and sort of diversify the type of conversation that's happening. However, I think the challenge for me has been, it's nice when you know the person. And I don't really, to be honest, like, I don't know that many people. Like, I'm not super.
You're not really like out and about.
No, I'm not, dude. It's crazy. Like, I'm so, and I don't know why that is, which I feel like you are out and about.
More than you, like no offense, like
not at all. This is the life I live.
No. I remember the first time we met was at, I don't know if I should say it because it feels like showy.
Wait, say it.
Now it's more of a thing. Now it's more of a thing. We were going for dinner. We had vegan chicken nuggets.
Yes. Wait, why do I feel like we met before that? I don't know.
You know what? I saw you at a BB Doobie show. And I was like, that's Emma. She doesn't know who I am. And we kind of looked at each other.
I fully knew who you were, but I just
looked. We both kind of did the thing of like,
we'll talk later. Like, I am so bad about.
I get nervous. In my head, this is my thing. Because I've been told so many times that I look different all the time. I always do this thing when I meet someone where I'm like, even if I've met them before, I'll be like, hey, it's Charli. And they're like, yeah, bitch. Like, I know. But like, I've been told by so many people that I often look very different from time to time, from like one time to another time. I think it might be a hair thing.
Oh, see, I have that because I always go blonde to brunette, brunette, back and forth.
But I'm like, yeah, but it's Emma.
See, but I feel that way about you.
Okay, well, that's nice to know.
But I also always feel like I don't introduce myself to people a lot because I'm like, they don't care. Does that make sense?
That's why I didn't introduce. I was like, I'm not going to go over and be like, Emma, Charli. And also I wouldn't do it like that, but
it's easier on the receiving end. I hate doing it.
Same. It's nerve-wracking because what if I was like a bitch and you came over and you were like, hey, Charli, I'm Emma, and I was like, cool.
No, but that happens.
Go fuck yourself.
That, I swear to, it doesn't happen a lot. No. But that shit will happen.
It's happened occasionally. And I would never ever do that to anyone.
You would never.
But now knowing you, I'm like, you would also never do that to anyone.
Never.
But like, you never know.
You fully don't.
You never know, because someone's like could be just like presenting as really cool, and then you meet them and they're like, hey, like, why don't you fuck off?
No, it's well, that's the thing.
You know?
I am like weird about just being like this sort of like quiet little fly on the wall in the corner. And I'm not, I don't know, I'm not like a socialite. Like I'm not built that way. Whereas I feel like, and being a socialite, that like word, that term, I don't have a better one, but it's like, that's a skill.
I feel like we are very cut from the same cloth in the way that we interact with people, and also the way that we go out. Like I go out more than you, I do think, but I think when I'm out, I behave the same way as you.
Oh, totally.
I'm just kind of like, bah.
Yes. Like
you
we
know
were
what I mean?
out
Like,
in
chill.
Paris and
that
I
was
felt
so fun.
so fun, but I felt we had a similar vibe where it's like, I mean, a lot of your identity is, public identity is around this sort of like
girl who goes out thing.
Girl who goes out, but in a fucking cool way that's like, it's not going out for anyone else. It's going out for you.
Yeah,
like that's your spirit, which is I feel like something that is so, it's a good message, because I feel like that's when going out is a net positive
thing.
Were you more of a party girl back in the day and it's sort of like fizzled now, or is it, I don't know, how has it evolved over the years?
It's honestly, it's the same, babe. Like
I love that though. That's so
like,
good.
I definitely, I'm 31 now, so I definitely have to pick and choose my moments a little bit more, because
of course.
like I like to have some drinks, and when I was like 19, I could go for it and never feel anything, and now I'm like, I gotta be a little more like selective. And for me it's like, I always want to go out if I'm feeling like up for it, and if it's gonna be fun. I never want to go out just because it's like an event that I have to do. Like that, I really treat that as work, actually. And I'm sure you're kind of the same. It's like, if there's like a party that's part of a fashion show, like most of the time it's not turning into like a really fun time. Sometimes it is.
It's rare.
But
rare.
But often it feels like work, and then you like leave and you go and like meet up with your friends, like we did in Paris, in that like random restaurant that we ended up like taking over, which was so fun. And so I love it. It's like, for me, if I'm down, there's a good group of people, like, let's go.
I was curious about that, because I think a lot of people, as they like go through their career and as things evolve, they start to become like, you know what, like, I can't do these things anymore. Like, I can't wear clothes like this anymore, or I can't go out like this anymore. They sort of like stop themselves from doing things that are maybe fun or more like,
well, my problem is I have no control, which is also kind of a bad thing. Like, if I do go to like a fashion party that turns fun, for example, like, I have no sense of like, now would be the appropriate time for me to leave. I'm like, if I'm having fun, I'm like, we're here, woo!
But like, someone has to fucking do that.
That's me.
At like a corporate-ish party.
All the chic people are like, oh yeah, no, we're like going at like 10:30 and I'll be there till 1, like, woo!
No, but that's you. But that's you though. That just proves, I think, your like identity is honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is you. Is that something that you're sort of like maintaining, because you're like, this has been sort of my identity for so long, my brand for so long, like, I'm gonna stick to this, and maybe it's not me anymore, but it's still in me in some way. So I'm creating it for almost this like, maybe this past self, or like this caricature of me. But it sounds like it's not that, and it's fully you.
I'm in it. I'm in it. More than actually ever, I think. Like, I think like making club music has sort of almost reintroduced me to the idea of like being really down to go out and like listen to club music and put myself in those environments, because I'm making that music more. So I've kind of been collaborating with people more in that world, and that opens me up to like, oh, come to this thing, or someone's doing a techno party or whatever. And that's really fun. Like, I really like going out, and I really like, my fiance's in a band, so I feel bad saying this, but like I
Mhm.
really don't like. I like watching them, but I don't love going to like live shows. Like
Yeah.
I want to watch like a DJ. I want to go to a
I
party.
understand that.
No offense to bands out there. Like we love you.
We love the
We love the
bands.
bands. We love the live music.
Yeah, but you're not like bumping. Like you're not bumping
No, you're
to
kind of like you're kind of going like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
I want to be like,
I could not agree more. Like I almost either want something that's so slow and so crazy that everyone's
Yeah.
sitting down,
Oh.
or crazy, crazy, crazy shit, right?
Yeah, you know what the thing is that is cool?
Yeah.
It's like obviously if you're going to see if you're going to see a band in an arena, there is
Yeah.
an option to sit, which is awesome. But
Awesome.
if you're going to see a band who's maybe playing like the Shrine,
Yeah.
like a 5,000 cap theater or whatever,
Yeah.
I just feel like there should be an option for like seats.
Oh, I could
Like
not
I would
agree
love
more.
to just like have a little pop-up chair.
Fully. Like it shouldn't be.
Like it shouldn't be mandatory to have to stand in a smaller gig. Like maybe they could give us like stools,
Stools would be great.
you know?
Bare minimum. I think we're similar in this way where it's like, it's our job to do these things. It's like, it happens to be our like passions and the things that we enjoy also are our job, whatever. There's also this like third element, which is the industry that we're a part of. But I feel like both of us are like, we understand that this is here.
Mm-hmm.
And we understand that there's a lot of opinions going on over here.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot of ways that things are supposed to be done, in
Mm-hmm.
quotes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I don't think either of us care
Yeah,
about it.
totally.
Like, so what's your relationship like to the man, if you will, like the industry? Is it like, are you like resentful towards it in a way, or are you more like, no, I just don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do what I want. And I appreciate your opinion, or I appreciate the way that you think this should be done. I appreciate you that you think that, you know, that this one's going to be huge and that this one's not going to be huge. I appreciate you telling me that. I don't care. I'm going to do this anyway. Like, where are you at?
Yeah, I'm definitely in the latter camp now of like, less even like, oh, I know you think this song is going to be huge and this one isn't. I don't even ask for the opinion. Like, I'm not interested. Like,
Agreed.
yeah. I've had to really work really hard to get into that place where really like the people that I work with leave me alone because they trust me and we've built the trust, and that's great. And, you know, they know that I'm not interested in the narrative around like successful songs versus unsuccessful songs. It's like I'm not operating in that space anymore. I'm not operating in like a space where I'm analyzing numbers and like you know, I'm not if it happens, awesome, that's great, but it's not my primary care. Like my primary care is that I'm able to make art that I really love and feel inspired by, and I hope that that sparks a conversation on a large scale, but I don't necessarily need the end goal of that conversation to be like the best stats in the world. Like I'm not competing with those kind of artists. Like it's not, my music doesn't go hand in hand with like that. My music is music for the nighttime. You can't play it in coffee shops. You can't play it in like a chill playlist on Spotify. Like it's like very specific, like, you know, and I'm so at peace with that. And I love that because I love making that music. So right now I would say, yeah, the vibe is very much like, I'm just doing my thing. But it's interesting that you mentioned resenting the man, because I've definitely been there too. You know, I've definitely been at points in this place of like resentment with the space that I found myself in my career. And who's to say I won't end up back there, you know? Like it's definitely like a pendulum swinging, one step forward, two steps back kind of thing, you know? So I've definitely been there, of being like, why am I not a different artist who can have all that I have, but also have all of these other things that I don't have? And, you know, I've definitely been there. But right now, I'm like very at peace because I think it's because I'm really, really happy with the music that I've made, you know?
Yes. It's so hard when you're not 100% on what you're creating and then that voice comes in, you can't handle it. It stings. Whereas when you love what you're making, it's like you have this this protective bubble around you and like nothing can touch you.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter what the fuck happens because you're so stoked on what you made that nothing else matters. It's you can't always be there.
No, it's a hard place to be, and you have to work to be there. You know, I've really had to work to get myself into a place where I'm like, you know, if this all fails and everything burns to a crisp, that's fine because I stand by this work. And I've definitely in the past like kind of kidded myself into that. And maybe if things haven't gone exactly the way I thought of, it has felt like there's been a sting. But with this, it's like I really believe in this music, and I really believe in kind of the culture around this record.
Yeah.
And I think it's doing something quite unique and different and progressive. And maybe not everybody will see it that way, and that's okay. But for me, I really feel that if I was watching this album campaign from outside, my interest would be pipped. Is that the word?
I don't know if it's the word, but I fucking love it.
Pipped my interest.
I love pipped.
It's pipped, right?
It doesn't matter because it's so good. And
pipped.
you just trademarked that if it didn't exist before. I'm pipped personally, so that's obvious.
Personally pipped.
I'm personally pipped.
Yeah, so I don't know. So I feel good about it, basically.
I'm curious about your work-life balance because I find like it's so tough because you're in a relationship, but you've worked with him, correct? What was that like? Like combining that?
It was like really sexy to begin with because I think we were both trying to like really impress each other.
Oh, I love that.
You know?
Yes.
So I think we were both quite nervous.
Yeah.
But we were both like being sexy.
Yes, that's so good.
And then now it's like the opposite. Now I'm like, because he is the person that I'm obviously like most myself with.
Of course.
I can be really snappy with him.
Oh, totally.
You know, I'll be like, George, why? Like, let's do it. Why haven't you comped the vocal? And he'll be like, can you chill out? Like, you know, whereas with other producers, I would never be like,
you're on your best behavior.
You know?
I work with my dad a lot. Like he'll film shit for me or like whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a fucking nightmare.
Right.
Even with my stylist, Jared, he'll take photos for me. Like when we do fashion week, like he also takes my photos. And I'm like, Jared, we need to eat. We need to eat. I'm hungry, Jared. Like I could not understand that more.
Right.
But that's also like I feel like you get the most honest result out of that in a way.
You do. Wait, hold on. I'm like obsessed that Jared does all your pics.
Oh, all my fashion week photos.
Really?
Yes. Like especially last fashion week, he was like,
do you have like a little camera thing?
It's like a little piece. It's not even like
you
this.
have the camera.
It's tiny in
Got
like
you.
three settings.
I get it.
But
I
that
got
shit
it. No, it's great. It's perfect.
I also am good at like color grading and I like get in there and color grade for like 4 hours.
Does Jared have like the angle? Like he knows? He's like, Emma, wait, work.
Well, I don't trust fucking taking photos. There's nothing, if there's not someone taking a photo who cares about it being flattering, it's honestly the worst experience.
A nightmare.
It ruins my night.
I know.
Well, it doesn't anymore. Like I'm trying to not care.
You're great at Fashion Week though.
Thank you.
I mean, also like the number of shows you do.
I don't know why I keep doing that.
Well, I think because I
love it.
You love it and you love putting an outfit together and you do it really well.
Thank you.
But like when I see you at Fashion Week and if I see Jared and he'll be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do like Miu Miu, we have Loewe, we do it. I'm like, what? I'm like, how are you changing in between them? Are you changing in the car?
Oh, we've never had to change in the. I've never planned it so that I'd have to change in the car because
so you
I
go
know
back to the hotel
and do glam again. Usually,
but you sometimes will do like 5 shows a day.
No, the most I've ever done in a day is I think 3.
Wow.
And I somehow had a gap that like allowed me, like one was super early and then one was like 8 p.m. But I like to go back and do glam again and have like a full new look. Cause it's honestly, that's like what's fun about fashion for me.
Yeah.
Like it's like when you get to go and do the full fucking
thing.
Look. I know you're the same.
But you know what's funny about me with Fashion Week? It's like I can't do the number of shows you do because I want to go to all the parties.
So
I can't do it because I'm like,
Yes.
I can't. It's like the hangover. They're
No.
like, oh, if you're like, you know, I don't know, like going to like some like Loewe dinner and then like Loewe party and I'm having that at the time of my life, but then you gotta like wake up in the morning to go to a show at like 10 a.m, which means you have to glam at 7.
Yes. No.
Nightmare.
I don't go out. No,
I go out. See, this is why I can't do all the shows. 'Cause I can't make
season,
it.
I did not go to one. I went to like one party for like 5 minutes and I was like, I'm all good.
Peace.
Well, you know what happens to me
Do
though?
you do dinners? You just like go for dinner with Jared?
Love the dinners. Like also sometimes the brands will have dinners. I love going to those. I'll go to dinner with Jared. We do room service always.
Cute.
Also, a lot of times my dad is there too. I'm like,
Cute.
so well, like, dude, and he's like fun, chill, cool dad.
Yeah,
so like he
nice.
like we gossip with my dad about the shit.
That's fun.
I don't know, but it's so weird. I'm the type that like I had this like single phase.
Yeah.
That was so hot. And I was like, so not really though. It was hot in the sense that
you were like out.
I was so out. You would have not recognized me, but and so I have it in me to go all fucking night.
I know you do.
But
I don't doubt it.
But the second I have a fucking boyfriend, it's done.
I get it. And I can definitely be like that with George, you know.
Do you party with him?
Yeah.
See, if you have somebody who loves to party too, that's nice.
He likes to DJ, so we'll go out and he DJs and I'm like dancing and maybe I'll like
unbelievable.
DJ a little bit too, you know, so it's fun like that.
Yeah.
And I really encourage him to dance because I think he looks really cute when he dances. This is probably so embarrassing for him. I'm like, he looks like cute.
Well, you guys, he can dance.
Well, I mean.
So he can't dance, but he's cute when he dances.
I like boys who are just like not afraid to just be like, yeah, like even if they suck, I think there's a charm in just like going for it.
To be free is to be handsome.
Right? Oh my God.
Right?
Yes. Need knives in the kitchen or whatever. To be free is to be handsome.
For fucking like
and
tattoo inspo.
Pips or whatever I say. I don't know. We're killing it.
Yeah, well, we're coming up with new. Everybody's gonna get this shit tattooed. These are Instagram captions. These are merch. Oh my God, I can't wait for our merch collab.
I know, it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be major.
It's gonna be so good.
So like, what are you stoked about right now?
I'm kind of stoked about like, for the first time, feeling like I have a pretty good work-life balance.
Oh,
like
so good.
You know, I feel like really just happy to be living my life a little bit. Like, because I feel like, you know, you can always function and you can always like live inside this like manic schedule of like all these different things that you have to do. But actually it's really nice to be like, I'm gonna just like pause that, put it on ice and actually just like spend time with my friends or spend time with my family or do this, that, and the other and not have it be about, you know, work. Although sometimes it's like more recently for me, I've been really able to be like, I'm going to take this weekend to just like watch like 4 movies. Or I'm going to take this weekend to, you know, like yesterday, we all cooked lunch together and swam. It was gorgeous.
That's what we need more of that
gorgeous.
Shit.
Terry made a dandelion salad.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. He came round with a big like Nara Smith style wooden bowl.
Stop.
And he made a dandelion salad.
Fuck, I'm kind of like,
Do you know who Nara Smith is?
Are you kidding me?
Okay, sorry. Can I just say?
I'm so obsessed with her.
Only like, I guess I am so late. I am beyond.
Yeah, but
I'm beyond late. I discovered this woman 3 days ago.
Okay, for me it was like a month. And for everybody else it was like a year.
Yeah,
so we're both late.
We're late. We're late.
Okay, yeah, we're late.
But I discovered her 3 days ago. And all I'm getting now on my TikTok feed is
her
and like people parodying her and more of her and like her husband. And I just can't get enough.
Doesn't it make you like, I watch it and I want to be a mommy?
Me too.
Like, does it make you want to go mommy vibes?
Well, she's
like,
just so gorgeous.
I know, it seems so easy for her.
It seems so easy for her. How have you woken up so early to make this cereal?
No, it's unbelievable.
Like, what time are you getting up? You getting up at 4 a.m.?
I can't. She wakes up, she doesn't sleep, but yet somehow she sleeps a full night. I don't get it.
Full night. She's like peaceful and tranquil, but she's also like up at 4 a.m. making like homemade cinnamon crunch.
And she's so pregnant and she's never showed a symptom. Has
She's
she ever
like,
showed us?
not
She's always
once.
pregnant, and I've never seen her complain. My God, is she just the
I
happiest
think
woman
she
on earth?
really loves being pregnant.
Yeah, some
I
people
watched
are like
this
that.
video. I mean, who knows? Maybe she hates it. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like, I hate it.
I'm assuming a lot about Nara. I assume
mean,
everything about her.
me too.
And you know what? She's okay with it. Do you dream of being a mommy one day, or are you like, fuck no?
I really am so back and forth about it, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like, I definitely wasn't somebody who kind of like dreamed of that. You know how some people are like, I was
Yes.
born to be a mother?
Yeah.
Like, I've never really like felt that level of needing that. I
Yeah.
also was somebody who, you know, as a little girl, I was never like, I'm gonna get married one day. I never like dreamt about my wedding in that way
Yeah.
that some girls do, or in that way that, you know, like I think society like painted like little girls as like dreaming about their wedding dress. Like
Yes.
like it didn't cross my mind once.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But now I am planning my wedding. I'm being absolutely insane, and it's so fun. I'm having so much fun.
I can't imagine.
It's so fun. It's so but we're also being like crazy. We're like, I don't know, whatever. We're like, we're gonna have this like really epic like cigarette station, and we're gonna have these people like walking around with like silver trays of cigarettes, and our like wedding planner is like, okay,
No,
like,
I'm so
shall we just
fucking obsessed with
decide
that.
like you know, like the food? And we're like, fuck it doesn't matter, everyone's just gonna smoke. Like, you know, we're just being like so dumb. But yeah, so the babies thing, it's like I don't know. Like some days I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I actually have a song about this on my album, like where I'm kind of talking about maybe this is too sterile to say it like this, but
Yeah.
the pros and cons of motherhood, and like
That makes complete sense
you know,
to me.
I think there's like a lot of things that we have to sacrifice.
Absolutely.
And I think obviously we live in this world now where everybody's like, no, but like you don't have to sacrifice anything because you can like be a mom and work and do that and what, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
But I think there's just so many different like things that come up.
No, you
and
absolutely have to sacrifice things.
Yeah. And
to say that you don't is not.
it's not realistic.
But
And
it's also okay to sacrifice things.
totally. It's totally
know?
okay. I would worry that there would be some like resentment
Absolutely.
for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe there's a lot of like nervousness around like talking about the possibility of feeling that way, because that does that equate to being a bad mother? I don't think so. I think it just equates to being like a human being.
Agreed.
But I think like there is a lot of kind of fear and like nervousness around being able to like completely talk like totally openly about, you know, how we as women feel about like the potential of like having a baby or
Mhm.
being a mother, because I think we can be so shamed into, you know, like I think there's a lot of like people want to shame us about like maybe like if we don't want to be moms.
Well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Totally. It's like exactly. So I
You can't
haven't
win.
really figured it
Yeah.
out, to be honest. I don't know. I don't really know.
You don't need to know.
Do you know? Do you want to have kids?
I do. And I
Uh-huh.
came to that conclusion from Nara Smith. No, I'm gonna,
Shut
up. No,
Our shining light.
I literally thank God for her. She
Mhm.
showed me everything I needed to know about motherhood. No, I decided I did only because I think I accomplished my dream in a way career-wise. I don't need any more necessarily career-wise. I'm like sort of at a place where it's like now I just want to just do things that are fulfilling for me,
Yeah.
which is an absolute treat and like it's a treat to do it that way, and it's like, but I don't necessarily have this goal anymore. And so I kind of had this identity crisis for a long time. Like, well, what is my goal in my life then? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
So, and I thought about it for a long time, and I came to the conclusion that for me, it was having a family of some sort. So it's like, no matter how it sort of forms and in what way that is, I was like, I think that is going to be the most fulfilling thing I can work towards, because for me, I'm not fulfilled enough by the by anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that I feel like I need.
Yeah.
Whereas some people don't need that. Like
Yeah.
some people are like fulfilled by, sort of pursuing this like magnum opus of like whatever their ultimate creation is or something. There's some people who are like, fuck a family. I don't need to do that. I want to create this like piece of art that lasts for longer than me. Or like, some people are just like, I want to help other people. I don't need a family. I can go find family elsewhere and help you. Like it's different for everyone what that is for them. But I don't know, for some reason it was like, I think I have to.
Yeah.
Like my gut was like, Emma, you have to.
Then that's
But
cool.
that also might change. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I remember when I was 21, I was like obsessed with the idea of having a baby. And I was with a guy who was a nightmare.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, I'm going to have a baby with him. And thank God I didn't.
Thank fucking God you didn't.
But I was so
You were in
my head. And then I swung the other way to like, I'm never having a baby. And then I like, it's like, I've definitely been like, I want it, I don't want it, I need it, I don't, So who knows?
I've been there too.
Who knows?
I was kind of like really against it for a long time. And then I was like, I don't know. But I also think too, people like don't think about how important who you choose is.
Yeah.
Like it's weird.
But then also sometimes people do it on their own, and that's really cool.
Well, that's great because then you're not relying on anyone else.
And it's I think everybody's scenario is so different and personal, and I don't think there can ever be like a blanket view on like
no, I know exactly what you mean.
Having a child, because
yes.
it's just everybody's life is different.
Even when you're getting married, like it's such an intimidating decision. You know what I mean? You're like, holy fuck, who am I marrying right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, has that been, I mean, I guess.
Am I nervous to get married?
Like, yeah. So what do you think of your husband? Do you like him or no? I don't know. It's like, it's a big part of growing up that's like terrifying. Like my parents are divorced. So I was always like, I actually really am not afraid of divorce though.
Right.
Because they got divorced and I was like, it's all good.
Are they friendly?
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is like a godsend. So like for me, it's not as scary.
That's interesting. Well, see, for me, marriage isn't really a big deal because my parents didn't get married until I was 16.
Whoa.
Yeah. So marriage has never been this like weighted thing in my household.
Totally.
It's never really been like this thing that was ever expected of me or, and when my parents did get married, I went to the wedding and there were like 3 other people there, you know, and my mom like wore a dress from Zara. It was not this like
that
big
is iconic
thing, so I don't have this. To me, it's just like George and I are getting married because we like really want to and we love each other, but also we like really want to throw like a massive party. And like I don't doubt, I mean, God, who knows, but like I feel very much like this is it.
Yeah.
But marriage, like it would be it without the marriage element too.
1000%.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I just don't have this like weighted thing on marriage, basically. Which maybe is naive of me. I don't really know.
No. I think it's healthy. Oh my God, your wedding is going to be so sick. Are you wearing like a traditional dress? Wait, don't tell me anything, actually.
I honestly haven't got that far
yet.
Great. I feel like we're so lucky in that like we're so used to like doing fittings 5 days before that like I'm not stressed about that. And I know that like Chris, my stylist, also isn't because,
he knows what the fuck's up. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yes.
Which is very privileged and spoiled of me, but we will figure it out.
No, of course. You are an absolute rock star. Thank you for talking to me for so long.
So are you.
No, this was so fun.
This was fun.
It was
I had
so
a really
fun.
Good time.
Same.
I had a really good time.
You need to be my co-host. That's your next job.
I would love that. Let's do it. Okay. Send me coffee.
Oh. I will be sending you you just need to text me that address.
I want the cold brew bags.
Oh, that's easy for me.
Okay, good.
That's
what I want really badly.
You're gonna have so fucking much.
Good.
That you're gonna never be able to like.
I want a lifetime subscription, please.
Done. That's done. Consider it fucking done.
Done.